Well, I got up early, got a crew to lead, setting up poles and ropes, that's a life for me. From a wedding to a fair, from the field to the town, I'm the one you call when you need a 10 up or down. I'm a 10 rental man, I'm working on...
And we are back again with another episode of Under the Vinyl. As always, I got my co-host Kyle. Kyle, how you doing?
I'm good, Nate. How are you?
Man, I'm good. I just came back from what I thought was going to be a little bit of a vacation, but as you know, in the event world, it just doesn't stop.
It's only a vacation if you don't take your phone or your computer with you, and I don't think any of us know how to do that.
I know, and that's kind of how it worked for me. I had no service at the house I was at, so I was trying to take calls on FaceTime audio and everywhere in between, but we made it work. So we made it back to another Monday and getting ready to get a little crazy. What are you guys getting ready to do? Anything fun?
No, we got a slow couple weeks. I got a big job next week down in Virginia, but other than that, not much going on, which is nice. Nice slow August. I can't complain. It's hot out. The guys are hot, so.
Yeah, that's nice. We're starting to pick back up again, which is good, and I'm ready for it, I think. So we'll see how it goes, but
Exactly.
Excited to get back to it. But I think we got a little bit of breaking news today on the podcast. We have partnered with and are now going to be running with rental management, and I would say not so, you could call it in-house, kind of in-house, but rental management will kind of be partnering with us now to be coming on to handle all of our editing and posting, and so you'll see a lot more as far as the social media side, the video side, things like that, and we're really looking forward to it. It's going to be a blast, I think.
I'm excited. Lauren's been great to work with over at Rental Management, so I think it's going to be a good partnership. And I know people wanted live video, and now it's not going to be live, but they'll get to at least see the video of the recordings now.
Now we just got to watch what we're doing.
Yeah.
Make sure everything goes smooth. So we'll have fun. So we're excited about that and to launch that with you guys. And, we will be doing some live shows here and there too as well. So this will be a good way to really get us out there and really promote the industry more than what we're already doing. So we're thankful to Rental Management for taking the chance on us and becoming good partners together. But so our first guest on this new platform today is somebody that's been in the industry for a little while now. We're excited to welcome Joelyn Caprine, a dynamic force behind the 24/7 events with a sharp eye for detail and deep passion for creating unforgettable experiences. Joelyn has played a key role in helping 24/7 deliver top-tier service in the world of events and rentals. From large-scale installations to fast-paced turnarounds, she's seen it all, and today she's here to share some of that knowledge and behind-the-scenes insight. Joelyn, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Did I get that name right?
Joelyn Caprine. It's close enough. I respond to it all.
I tried several times before I said it too, so I apologize for that. But thanks for coming on today. How are you?
Good. 7:30 on the West Coast over here, so just starting on my day off with you guys.
Love it. Well, we thank you for being on today, and we know it's early, but we're glad you're here. So if you just want to tell us a little bit about your background and your journey and how you got started in the industry and what led you to get to 24/7.
Yeah. So I've actually been in the rental industry for about 6 years now. I've been with 24/7 my entire rental career. Prior to this, I was in the hotel and hospitality industry for about 10 years. So it was there's a lot of overlap, but definitely a completely different beast. I actually met Rob at a mutual friend's house when I was on maternity leave with my second kid, and we got to talking, and he kind of saw some of the connections I had in our local community, and he's like, hey, you want to come work for me? I need a salesperson, and there I went. So that was back in September of 2019, so right before COVID hit.
Oh boy, so you came in right as everything.
Start.
Yeah, you came in as everything kind of hit the fan. So what kind of challenges did you face then coming in for that, and how long was it before? I mean, did you ever feel really comfortable until all that stuff started to happen?
Well, right when I started in 2019, I was trying to get my feet wet, kind of just learning the industry. And one thing that Rob had always told me was, hey, it's going to take a while to actually understand and see what happens. I mean, there's no roadmap in the rental industry whatsoever. So he's like, just kind of soak it all in. And then, so I'm, getting my feet wet, getting to know kind of what we do, kind of how the world works. I actually got to go to the ARA show in Orlando that February. So that was a really cool experience. And then I came back and everything shut down. So it was quite the adventure. We were actually just moving warehouses as well. So we were just moving into a 50,000 square foot warehouse, right when I remember very clearly when Rob and Stacy came in and were like, hey, all right, guys, we're going to have to be shutting down. With COVID, we're not really knowing what's going on. So it was kind of scary. Everyone went home, obviously. And kind of figured it out from there. I think they basically put us all in unemployment for probably about 3 months. And then we started really getting into restaurant tenting. We did a lot of elevated deck, building, extended outdoor dining into the streets. So I really just jumped into the tent world real quick right there. So
love it. Was there anything that you were not so familiar with? Was it the tenting aspect that was kind of new for you being in the hospitality industry, or did you have prior tent knowledge?
I had zero tent knowledge at all. So
that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, well, and I really do believe, my knowledge that I've gained you learn it best when you're thrown into things. So just kind of being thrown into that, I really learned a lot. And I kind of feel like normally you go into, especially we do a lot of tabletop stuff as well. And that's kind of where I had a little bit more experience, especially being in the hotel industry and working on the event side there. But coming into, tents was I never paid attention to them, and then kind of jumping in like that, I learned quite a bit. So.
And Rob's a very easygoing guy too, as I've known Rob for 10 years, and I can imagine that it was probably just kind of like, yeah, we'll figure it out. Come with us. You got this.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's exactly what, and I was so nervous,
Yeah.
but he made it happen. By the way, he was super jealous that you guys invited me before you invited him on here, and I told him, I was like, don't worry.
We know who wears pants over there 24/7.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
love
right.
it. So what does a typical day look like for you over at 24/7? Or is there such thing as a typical day?
No, there's no such thing. Once I get here, I literally don't know what I'm walking into. All of us have our emails and everything on our phones. So even before I'm in the office, I'm getting phone calls, or you kind of have a snippet of what's going to be going on. But once you get in the door, I've got, employees coming up. We've got situations arising. So it really, and that's, I think, one of my favorite things about being here and in this industry is I never know what's going to be thrown my way. So, but yeah, I always do a warehouse walk. So I come and see my team, and then get up here and just get in my computer and see what my emails have for me.
So you started in sales. What's your current position?
I am general manager here. So now I oversee operations, sales, the whole shebang.
So how did your role kind of evolve since you first started there then?
So I was obviously hired as outside sales. So when COVID hit, obviously that completely changed. I kind of slowly evolved in taking over an operations role. We had one of our operations managers go out on a long-term leave, and I kind of just started taking on a lot of that. And it kind of just snowballed from there. We needed someone to step up to take responsibility, and somehow, if you know me at all, I don't say no a lot, and I get myself into messes that I'm like, okay, what are we doing now? So I evolved into an operations manager role for a short period of time, and then I kind of started overseeing everything. And then Rob's like, one day he's like, you want to be general manager? I don't have one of those. Like, I need one of those. I'm like, I guess so. So I've been in this role probably about, I think, 3 or 4 years now, or maybe not. I have no idea. It's for a little while now.
Funny to hear you say that, because I think that's what we all do. We all kind of just take it on and take on a lot, and eventually it just evolves into certain roles that we didn't expect, and it's for the best, obviously. But it sounds like that Rob saw a lot of potential in you to let you just kind of handle that type of stuff.
Definitely, I know, and I always feel a little bit awkward too, because I'm like, oh, this is definitely the most unconventional. It's not a typical way most people in the event industry get to their, especially in rental, it's all family, most of the time, not everybody, but like it's, your generational, your parents had owned a company, and I'm here like, oh yeah, I've been here 6 years and here I am, So I always am like, I'm like the one random person that doesn't make sense of like how you got here, but I'm here now. So
Love it. Love it.
You're here to stay too.
yes.
You're a lifer. We call you the rental lifer, right?
Yep, exactly.
All right. Well, can you give us a little behind the scenes look at kind of what makes 24/7 stand out in your competitive market?
Yeah. So we are right outside of LA. So we're in a little suburb called Santa Clarita. So we're about 30 miles from downtown Los Angeles. So we do have some big fish in our market in terms of rental industry that will do a lot of the tenting, do basically everything that we do, but just on a completely different scale in terms of how their operation runs. The magnitude of the jobs that we do are very similar. We are known as primarily as for our tenting and our structures, elevated deck. We do everything from power, HVAC, you name it.
So you guys do a lot of structures and raised level flooring is basically your bread and butter, right?
Correct. Yeah, probably
Okay.
70% of our business is that. We're really working on trying to build the tabletop and event rental side more and more now.
Okay.
But,
Are you guys kind of more centrally located there and kind of staying around that area? Do you guys travel more up and down the coast? Where do you guys go to?
We travel everywhere. I mean, we do a lot of subcontract work for a lot of other partners in the industry as well. So we will travel. I mean, I know we've been in Hawaii, we've been Colorado, we've been to New York, we've been all different sorts of places. A lot of our bigger jobs are where we travel out of state. We do a lot of stuff locally. I mean, we'll go 4 or 5 hours up the coast. We'll do things 30, 20 minutes, 5 minutes away. So we're everywhere.
Good deal. And is there a certain manufacturer that you guys specialize in for, structure or flooring that you guys, or do you guys have all different kinds of product? What is your primary product?
Most of our structure is shelter structures America. So that's all of our structures we use for our frame tents is Aztec. So we primarily stay with the two of those. I mean, it's easy just because they're both manufactured here on the West Coast. So we've really developed those relationships, and Rob's been very much in that mindset, sticking with our what we know and staying with that. So we've been primarily with those two brands.
How many employees are you overseeing?
We normally around 40 employees. Right now I think we're at 38. But it normally sticks around there, and we're all year round. So I have 40 employees throughout the year.
Is this considered a slow season for you?
Generally, yes, because of the heat. But this year it's kind of been a little bit odd. Normally our July and August are super slow. This year, our August is probably one of the craziest Augusts we've had. And our September is looking a little bit slower than normal. So it's kind of just a little funky, kind of the months kind of swapped. I'm sure once school's back in session next week, we're probably going to start picking up a lot for September. But yeah, August is definitely a lot heavier than normal.
What do you tend to do in those slower months with your all's guys and girls? Is there something that you guys, do you lay people off? Do you keep people on? What kind of tasks do you guys got going on?
We keep everybody on, and that's one thing I think once we find our talent, once we, invest in our people, we'll really keep them on, and, we will figure it out in the slow months of how to keep everyone busy and how to keep everyone on payroll. We really focus on just the organization of the warehouse, the cleanliness, inventory, and then we are right now, we have our main structure team, and then we'll have our tent, our party side, where we'll, be putting in the yard, we'll be putting up structures and just kind of practicing and teaching new skills to our new teams. So
yeah, that was kind of my next question is how are you guys separated? Do you guys have individuals that do certain things? Does everybody do everything? How do your departments work?
So we have I probably have 6 main people in our structure department. So we run a smaller structure department, but they're all incredible and talented. So we really kind of, again, though, once we find our people, our fit, like we'll keep them, we're really close in that regard. And then the rest of everybody else is on the party side. So we'll do most of our tenting on that side, the tabletop stuff, chairs, all that. And then we have our linen and dish department, which we have about 3 people in right now. And then we do have some overlap where some employees will jump around kind of as needed. But primarily that's kind of how we're set up.
And how many square foot are you guys working out of?
50,000 square feet right now.
Okay, so real good
Plus
size.
some outside.
Yeah, you got
plus
outside
some
yard.
outside.
Yeah, and that building is absolutely beautiful from what I've seen. I've been meaning to want to come out there. But every picture that I see, it looks immaculate. It's beautiful. But
Yeah, we definitely take pride in that in our warehouse and our setup here. And every time we get someone that walks in here, they're pretty amazed. So we're very proud.
so is this usually the time of the year that you kick Rob out to and get him out of your hair for a little while so that you can kind of take a breath?
I try, but that guy sticks around.
Love it. So you would say most of your events that you kind of specialize in are the structure side, or just a little bit of everything? What do you? I mean, you guys. It sounds like you guys are very diverse in a little bit of everything. But is there something that you specialize in, and how do you approach each one differently?
Yeah, I mean, we're really a decent mix. I mean, we've got a lot of I feel like my time's more consumed with our structure projects. I mean, we do a lot of large scale projects where we're focusing a lot of time on there, and then and I don't want to dismiss the party side, and our regular frame tents, but we do so many of those that it's just kind of like that's our everyday kind of thing. When we have our structured projects, they're much larger capacity. So we do everything from weddings, corporate, all different aspects of the industry.
Okay. And then what are some of the biggest challenges you feel like you've faced in this business so far, and just how have you overcome them?
I think one of the most difficult things is probably there's no like straight answer for anything in our industry. It's kind of like you get a situation thrown at you and you have to figure out how to make it work. And I think especially like I think hiring is a huge topic for many of us right now in all positions. Training somebody is so hard to be like, hey, this is how we do things. This is how you can tell them how to install a tent, but you can't, if there's obscure or, you get to a job site and completely not what you expected, and how to kind of pivot and make decisions on that. So I think training is always a challenge. It's a fun challenge and it takes a certain personality to be able to do that. So I think finding talent is definitely a challenge that we have, and kind of just learning how to really train somebody to deal with certain situations, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that leads into my next kind of questions. What, being out on the West Coast, you're in your own different world out there, it feels like. So talk about the hiring aspect of that. I know it's all over the place with, just all the laws and restrictions and unions and hours worked and overtime, and just kind of hit on
Breaks,
that a little bit.
all that, yeah.
Yeah. It's a totally different beast. I mean, I know, Rob, we talk about it constantly. We are in our own little world out here, it feels like sometimes. And so, basically, we have to... In an 8-hour shift, which is our standard shift, we have to have two 10 to 15 minute breaks, and then we have to have a mandated 30-minute lunch within 5 hours of clocking in. So we have major challenges with that, and it's a conversation we're having every single day. And if you know Rob is always like, let's just do what we want to do. And I'm like, well, there's kind of a law in place. We can't just do what we want to do. So if we have guys on a job site and we're in a time crunch, we have to make sure that no matter what, everyone has to stop and not do anything and take that 30-minute lunch before that 5th hour hits, which can, we have to get creative of, okay, we need to get this job done. Are we bringing in a second team to kind of catch up on that 30 minutes? I mean, 30 minutes doesn't sound like a lot, but in certain situations, it absolutely is. We've got, when we're driving on job sites, we have to pull over. You have to pull over to take your 30-minute break. And so it has to be, and we have a system called Connect Team to where the guys are clocking in and out on their phones, and we have to go through and double check and make sure everyone's following policy. Otherwise, we could have a lawsuit on our hands. So that can be fun and challenging, for sure.
Is it true you have to provide shade for lunch? Did I hear that?
I've never seen a written law for that. But I mean, obviously we try to take care of that. We have Easy Ups on our trucks, so the guys will pop up an Easy Up and sit under there if they need to. But I don't know if it's a written law.
So 8 hours, anything over 8 hours is considered overtime out there?
Correct. Yeah. And then anything over, I think it's 12 is double time.
And are you having to use union labor in a lot of spots out there, or with the projects that you were doing, are you able to get around that? How does that work?
For the most part, we're able to get around it. There's certain jobs that I would say probably maybe two I can think of right now that we do every year that we'll have to work with union, but 9 times out of 10 we're able to kind of work around that.
Okay.
And on those union sites, are you still sending your guys and just using a few union employees?
Yeah, exactly.
Do they have to have certifications, certain certifications to meet those requirements to work? If you send your guys, is your guy able to work, or do they have to just kind of be there to project manage and not really do anything? How does that?
It depends on the situation. Most of the times we're able to make a case, because it's such a specialized thing that we're able to make a case that like these union guys don't know, like it's not as straightforward as a lot of people on the outside think. So we do a really good job of educating our customer in those situations, and normally we're able to kind of get around that.
Got it.
It definitely creates challenges. Like I'm sure, Nate, you've come across the union, and they get all.
That's kind of why I was hitting on
their
this.
Chests. Yeah.
We're getting ready to work through that right now with some stuff coming out there, and it seems like it's just madness. Like you don't even. I mean, Kyle, you go through it up in New York. You have the same thing. You go through the union.
Philly.
Yeah, I mean, it's all over the place. It's just. I don't think I've ever been able to get around it. I've been able to send like one project manager that has to literally stand there and keep his hands in his pockets and can't even touch a ladder, and just kind of watch everybody, but just kind of coach everybody on what to do, which sounds nice, but at the end of the day, it creates longer timelines and everything else. So that's kind of where I was going with that. Do you feel like you guys have had a lot of turnover lately, or do you feel like you've had a lot of people coming in that you've hired, or where are you guys kind of at right now with where are you comfortable with where you're at and the people that you got and everything like that?
Yeah, I mean, we have a really, really good team, and most of the people who have been here for quite a while. So we definitely take pride in, I think that showcases the culture and the kind of company that we have here. So we're very fortunate, and, we've always run really tight ship because of how tight-knit we like to be. We are in this, kind of growth phase where we're trying to, Rob's always believed in a bottom-heavy type of company. So we've never really invested or really had a lot of management or, office people. We were trying to, focus on our talent on the outside. And I think we're kind of in that we're pivoting right now and kind of really trying to build the infrastructure in the office a little bit more. So, we just hired a salesperson. I just hired an ops manager at the beginning of this year. So about 8 months ago. Our business has all been really word of mouth since then. So, and the gal we hired in sales is newer to the industry as well. So we're bringing in people and kind of building them the way in our way. So we haven't brought on, a lot of outside talent or that in the industry. Most people have grown up with us.
So let's talk about that.
You kind of hit that. Yes. That's why I wanted to go with that too. Go ahead, Kyle.
Like I struggle with this as well, hiring a salesperson who's coming in who doesn't know anything. What is your kind of method of getting them to understand how tents work? Because obviously there needs to be some knowledge when you send them out somewhere to go meet a client of, hey, this fits or this doesn't fit, this works, this doesn't work. So how are you kind of educating these people you're bringing in?
It's definitely a challenge. Rob was originally bringing me in like that too, like completely coming in totally blind to it and like, hey, go sell this. With the gal we have right now, she came from the restaurant and hospitality industry. And we're, with her, it's really kind of been like, let's just really focus on the basics. So I've had her a lot more on the office, taking her on installs to kind of see like what it takes to be on site at these jobs. And kind of having her just really observe and soak it all in. So it definitely is a challenge because every single day there's something, but I think personality means everything, especially in the sales world. So if you got the personality and you know when to ask questions, know when to kind of defer, and that's kind of where we hired her based on personality, rather than her industry knowledge. So we've been really trying to focus things on that end.
I think that there's a lot of people going through that right now because I think there's a big shift in this industry on just kind of the older generation, newer generation, and just how everybody looks at their business as a whole, you could say. And I think that everybody's kind of been so heavy for so many years on the bottom end, just as you're saying.
Yeah.
But now you're learning that you got to start bringing in some more people. Now with that, comes bigger salaries and figuring out what everybody's going to do and how you're going to afford them. So how have you guys been able to kind of weigh those options out. And when you bring somebody in like that, you can say that somebody's going to account for this amount of sales or do this amount, but how do you make sure that they get there?
This is a conversation Rob and I have like literally this weekend. He called me and we talked about the exact same things, and it's constantly something that we're having to pay attention to, especially on the payroll side, especially when we're slower, trying to figure out like, okay, we still have to make payroll, but we're trying to grow into these different aspects. So it's definitely a balance, and I think we're kind of taking a little bit of a risk right now. And again, this is our first real salesperson since he hired me, which I didn't even really get to sell anything since COVID and all that hit. But we're kind of in that phase where I'm like, okay, it takes, and especially for us too, it takes in the sales world, the effort you put in now, you're not going to really see for another year or so, especially with, the knowledge and understanding and learning the industry. So we're kind of in that growth phase. So far we've been able to kind of make things work. And I'm just hoping that it'll pay off, and I'm hoping to see that in the next couple months.
Yeah, I think that's huge, especially, how you started the podcast and you said that you've just kind of taken things on and just ran with it. And now it's become to the point where it's probably a little bigger than you, and that you need some people in those supporting roles. When you figure that out, will you call Kyle and also tell him about that so that he can go to Brian and talk to him about that?
You'll be my first call.
Awesome. Well, our new salesperson starts tomorrow, actually, so that's why I was asking that question.
That's awesome. So. Yeah, and I think that it's bringing somebody in from the outside too that doesn't know the industry is a little bit better in that aspect. I think that if you find somebody in this industry that's been here for a really long time, that's great, and they have the knowledge. Bringing in new people is tough for the moment, I feel like, but I feel like they're easier to train and more adaptable. But it's almost like you have to rework your mind too and how you set their goals. You bringing them in and really got to latch them on with somebody to take them, to the job sites, to training calls, things like that, and then really setting the expectation of the goals and the bar and where it's got to be, I guess. So
exactly, yeah.
It's tough up front, I feel like, but it pays off in the long run for everybody, just so that you can feel like you're not living inside the business 24/7. See what I did there?
Nice pun.
I love that. So what's one of the biggest challenges that you feel like you faced, and how have you overcome it, outside of just the crews and everything else, just with you as an individual in this industry?
Just me hopefully I'm answering your question right. Challenge. My work-life balance. I'm a mom of two.
That's where I was going with that. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I'm like, is this where we're going?
Yeah.
So I'm a mom of two. I've got a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old. So they definitely keep me busy. They're both super, super involved in sports, and every single day we're in something. So I've got my son, my 6-year-old, plays hockey. My daughter is cheering and softball. So this morning we're still on summer break, but it's like, okay, where are we going today? We got cheer practice. I got to make sure I get off work. When I get off work, and that's in quotes for those who are listening. I'm out the door, and I'm figuring out when are we going to get dinner done? I got to get laundry done. I got to get you dressed. Got to get all your gear. Who's going where. I'm very fortunate to have a husband he works some crazy hours as well. But between the two of us, we work really well as a team and kind of figure out how to make it all work. So we've been pretty successful in trying to make that happen, but every day is a different challenge. So I think, coming in to work, my brain is generally in a million different places. Like, I've got loads of laundry at home. I got to make sure payroll's done. When I come here, got to make sure everyone's got food. What are we having for dinner? Do we have groceries in the house? So I think that is definitely a challenge. I also don't say no often. So I'm in PTA at school. So, I've got PTA meetings I got to log into. I've got to volunteer in the kids class, but then I've got to go to this job site and make sure everything's good here. I got a meeting with the client. So I definitely juggle quite a bit. But I think I'm very fortunate, where Rob and I have a really good mutual understanding. Even though I'm physically not in the office all the time, everyone knows that they can, pick up the phone and call me, text me, and I'm always available. So I've just kind of gotten into that routine and kind of making it work.
So basically what you're saying is your next hire needs to be an assistant.
Exactly. And Rob always says that. He's like, we need to bring in an assistant for us. And I'm like, I know, but I also am a control freak a little bit. So it's learning to me to relinquish some of my, things. And, I kind of did that, bring in our ops manager. I've kind of shifted some stuff to her, and then my plate still gets full with something else. So
Yeah.
I think we're all kind of like that, where if you're in this industry, you want to take it on because you feel like you can get it done the best way. And I've had to learn just over time to trust people and delegate, and they might screw it up, and it's part of it, but at least they're going to learn from it, and they're going to figure out how not to do it next time. But yeah, the control thing is hard, especially when you start to take on all that stuff over time and you just let it build up, that you continue to do it. But coming from experience, delegate that stuff and let the people learn, because it'll take you far, I feel like. And don't quote me on that, because I haven't learned that until just recently, having our third kid now, that I'm like, okay, now it's time to say this person can do this for their job, and they can handle their job, and let them handle it. That's what they're paid for. And especially when you're looking at the payroll. You know, when you see that those people on the payroll that need to be handling those things, you got to let them handle it.
I literally just had that conversation with the other day, and I'm like, I'm still doing this, and I'm like, why am I doing this? I've got someone who's completely capable, and it's like, I need to be able to cut the cord and pass on, and there probably is going to be some stuff that comes up, but it's nothing that's, Rob's sister, Stacy, she's like, we're not running triage. This is like, we're putting up tents and throwing parties, and, so she's always, then I always have to remind myself of that.
Well, it's hard to let it go because you're going to get the phone calls. You
Exactly.
know that somebody's going to call. You know that somebody's going to complain. You know that it's not going to be done right, and then you're going to think in your mind, well, if I was just there, it would have got done correctly. But at the same time, you got to know that if that person fails a couple times, and if they want to be in this business for the long haul, then they're going to dive in and they're going to figure out how they screwed it up, and just have those talks afterwards of, hey, this is what you did. Let's talk about it so it doesn't happen again. And you can feel a little bit more at ease, I feel like, at that point.
Definitely.
But yeah, that work-life balance is rough. I understand that a lot. And you moms out there are, freaking superheroes. I watch my wife do it every day and work a full-time job. And it is, y'all don't get enough credit. That's for damn sure.
It's an adventure, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Let's move on to some kind of trends and some industry insights that you kind of see. What are kind of some trends going on in the event world out there in California right now, and whether it be in design or logistics or just customer expectations as a whole? Is there anything that you're seeing coming your guys' way?
The first thing that comes to mind is they want it now. They want it yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's necessarily new, but I just feel like more and more it's like, hey, I'm getting married in a month and I want this insane, crazy, setup, and it's in the mountains, and it's like, the ground's completely unlevel, and I want clear tops in 100-degree weather, but I want to keep it cool, just unrealistic, things that are completely crazy.
I have a $5,000 budget.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So kind of those people are definitely out there right now, and I think I actually get excited with those because I feel like sometimes it's more of a challenge, and those are the ones that you put in so much time. As much as you're like, these people are crazy, how am I going to do this? Pulling it off is really rewarding. In terms of design, the atrium, we have the atrium, so that has been very, very popular. And if I'm wrong, I'm so sorry, but I think we were one of the first ones on the West Coast to have the atrium, especially in our area. So that was really hot for a while, and I think it's still hot, just kind of starting to slow down. That it's been up a couple times, so everyone's seen it. And then we've seen some white frame requests lately too, which I think is fun. But yeah.
Do you guys feel like you're slower to get the stuff, to get more of the trends, or do you feel like you kind of set the trends? I feel like you guys, for the most part, set the trends and it moves across the United States.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think so too, and I think that actually is like challenging for us, especially on the party side, like trying to purchase and get ahead of the trend when we don't even know what the trend is, and just trying to make sure we're making logical purchases, bringing on the right type of inventory that will still keep us people wanting to book with us. So I think there's a really big balance, and for us to kind of stay on top of that is been really challenging. But we try our best because we do know that most of the trends do start here on the West Coast.
And do you think that's because the clients are kind of changing and 24/7 has to kind of adapt to meet those demands? Or
Yeah,
How did,
absolutely. I think
okay.
I think we're constantly adapting and try. I was trying to be ahead of it rather than having to adapt. But I mean, everyone. I mean, I've got people asking for certain kinds of chairs now, and those were actually really hot like 2 years ago. So like I have some of those, but then I've got stuff that people are like, hey, we want this, and I'm like, I've never even seen that before. Let me figure out, like, is this going to be a thing? Is it just a weird request that you have? And kind of trying to think about things in that way.
So is there any breaking news that we need to know about a trend out there that we're going to eventually see in the
buying
year?
out here?
Right? I'm trying to think right now. No,
Yeah, yeah, I love that. What about any kind of technology or innovation that kind of changed the way you guys work as a whole and your company functions?
that's a good question. Nothing, I mean, in terms of technology stuff right now, nothing crazy. I mean, I think we were and I don't even know how people are, we've been doing this for about 2-3 years now. But when I first started, we were all just paper, they were writing schedules on paper. We were texting people their schedule changes. We finally, like about 2-3 years ago, we got into Connect Team, which I swear by. So I got my schedules there. Everyone can text through there, communicate with their coworkers.
Digging on that a little bit. I don't know. Tell me about that. I'm not familiar.
So it's basically a system, software, and it's an app on everyone's phone. So I can put everyone's schedules in there. I can make changes. So like if tomorrow we've got a change, I can go in there and make the change, and it'll be live on their schedule. The person will get their alert on their phone. I can do company announcements on there. Everyone can communicate on there. So I kind of have my employees' communication all in one area, which is really nice to have. I do still get phone calls and texts directly onto my phone, not necessarily on the app, but I like to try to keep things as streamlined as possible. And then on there, I can also pull some reports on like how many hours am I putting in, how many hours have we done been out in the field, how many warehouse hours have I had, so I can have them categorize what they're doing that day, so I can kind of analyze what we're doing and where.
And you can look at your labor costs, which seems really nice.
Yeah.
What's that?
She can calculate her labor costs based on how the guys are clocking in and out on the app.
Yes. So what service do you guys use? Are you using Point of Rental still?
Yes.
Okay. And everything's been smooth with that as far as you guys growing and how you're adapting with that as well?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have our challenges. Every software has its challenges, but we've been with POR for as long as I've worked with Rob. I know before he was on Alert, but since then, I mean, POR has been great for us, and we've been able to evolve with it. We don't have I forgot the one. I think it's Expert. We don't have the one that's on the cloud. We still have the old school server one. So I think we're going to probably transfer over to that one soon, but as of now, it's been working just fine.
Okay, perfect. So what kind of motivates you to keep going in this high pressure and fast paced industry? I know that it is, I mean, I know you've been in hospitality, so I'm sure it's comparable your whole life and everything, but just what keeps you going and what keeps you motivated?
That's a good question. I mean, obviously supporting, being there for my family, showing them, especially my kids, that, especially being a female is in a male dominated industry. I mean, we're evolving right now, but showing that you put your mind to it, you can make things happen. I am a very passionate person. So when I fall in love with something and, I put my all into it. So I've really I don't own the company, but you would think I do. I feel like it's mine, the decisions that we're making every day. So I just think watching the jobs get executed is so fulfilling. Watching the team that we have and watching them succeed and grow as people is super rewarding to me.
So you touched on it a little bit, but I was going to get to that. What has it been like for you to be a woman in this industry as a whole? I mean, I do feel like it's been a male-dominated industry for so long, and we've tried to bring light to that as well as just showing the different areas that women are coming into now and making this a whole better industry. But just touch on how you feel like you've been accepted as an individual and a woman in this industry and kind of the impact you feel like you're making.
It's a good question. I feel like I think I've been very fortunate. I've felt very welcomed in every aspect. I think personally, I have like a confidence sometimes issue where I'm like, okay, like who's this girl who walks in here, especially when I've literally came from not even the rental industry, and it's like, what does she know about tents? And then there's conversations that happen, and then like I'll kind of pipe in, and I'm like, don't say anything, like let these guys talk. And so I think there's been definitely a confidence thing for myself that I've had to like overcome. But I think when I first started working here at 24/7, I think there was 3 females and the rest of them were all guys. And I've been very fortunate to earn the respect from everybody. I have always had a challenge. Even in my hospitality role, I had the challenge of being like, I was always supervising people that were 10, 15 years older than I was. So I had the age situation there. And then kind of coming in here, it's like, okay, in a male dominated industry, I still wanted to show them that I can still do everything that they can. So on job sites, I'd be going on the canopy jacks, and I'd be helping them bring up the tent. I've put up purlins myself. So kind of being in there and kind of showing them that as a female, I'm just as worthy, I'm just as able to do anything you guys can do. So I've kind of been able to develop and build a really great rapport with our team, and kind of learn through there, just kind of made myself one of them.
Also feel like women are just more respected by guys when they come out to a job site and they say, hey, this is what you need to do, this is how you need to do it, and they're more acceptable to you than they would be me.
Well, and like exactly, and I feel like lately, or more and more, I've been able to, the guys, Rob comes out there and they're just like, oh my God, Rob, and then I'll say something and they're like, oh, okay, so, but again, I think that has to do a lot with the rapport that I've been able to build with them, since I've started. I've not put myself at a different level, and I've kind of just come in there and be like, okay, you guys are doing this, like, I'm going to do it with you, like, I can do it just as much, so.
I think there's a respect level there once I see what you can do, and that you're there to help them succeed, but you also have a little bit of knowledge on what you're doing, and you can give them some insight as well. I think then that trust factor comes in.
Definitely. Yeah, there's a video out there of me on one of our biggest structure jobs with our guy, the lead structure guy. He's like, you can't put this purlin up. I'm like, watch me, I'll do it. So I got my hard hat on. I'm like, all right, let's go. And that video, every time he says something to me, I like show it to him. I'm like, remember this? Remember?
Yep. And you wouldn't
awesome.
put them on anything that you wouldn't do. That's what I always say,
Exactly.
That's great. What advice would you give to someone then getting started in this industry, whether, it's in the event industry as a whole, or, in tents in general, or just anything? What would you give them?
Be patient. I think that it's one of those, it's not an industry, like I mentioned earlier, you can't just walk in here and know everything, and you won't know everything. I mean, several years into this, there's so many situations that arise that I'm like, I have no idea, but we're gonna figure this out. So I tell one of my new operations and my sales gal, like, be patient, give yourself grace. It comes with time, and it always works out in the end. So I think be patient. That's it.
That's good advice.
Patience.
So you came from hospitality, and I believe you also kind of do some event planning on the side.
I do, yeah. So I graduated with my bachelor's degree in hospitality management. So I actually was going to school to be a physical therapist, and decided and then I was working while I was going to school, and I started working at a front desk at a hotel, and I quickly grew there, and then I moved into on the hotel industry, and I was working more on the meeting and the event side of things, and then I went into the corporate room side of things. And once I was on the event side of things, I found that love that I had for organization, just watching an event from start to finish. And so I kind of started on the side. I had friends ask me like, hey, will you help me with this? Hey, will you help me with that? And I'm like, okay, like, sure. And then kind of built into something. So yes, I do technically have my event planning business on the side that I do on occasion. I do not have a ton of time for a lot of things. So I do work just mostly on referral for that, but it's really helped me as being on the event planner side in this industry, like kind of understanding what the event planners go to, and how I can help make their process work smoother when they're booking with us, whether it was from a tent or rental structure side. As
a rental company, like, what could companies do better to better work with planners now that you see both sides of it?
I think really trying to put yourself in their shoes as best as you possibly can. I think that and I don't want to knock planners either, because I feel like I've become a better person on knowing the rental side of things, but like they also don't know. We expect them to know a lot more than they do as a rental company, and they don't. So it is our job, and we do need to be patient enough to educate them on that stuff. So I think finding that balance of like, okay, like they're coming to us saying we need to put this, 20 meter up, and they want on an elevated deck in 8 hours, and it's like, okay, well, let me explain to you the process. So I think, being able to explain the processes and really be straightforward with your planners, not assuming that they know things, and kind of letting, well, they need to lead the way, we can still help them lead the way. So they still need us. It's more of a team rather than, a client.
Perfect. All right, I got a couple rapid fire questions here before we close out. But what's your must-have item on an event site?
Water.
Facts.
Honestly, just a great. I think you need. Are you talking about a thing? Just a great team. I think it's the right players you have on a job site is all you need.
And then, what's your favorite type of event to plan?
Weddings.
Man, that makes one of us. Coffee or energy drink?
Coffee.
All right. Tent set up at sunrise or tear down at midnight?
Sunrise.
See, I'm a midnight guy. I would rather work at night when it's nice and cool.
I'm a sunrise guy too.
Yeah, I'm a morning person, and I also like, especially on an event site, like you need everyone else to get out of your way, like, and everyone else is there at night. I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna start fresh,
Love
get
it.
in there, and it's beautiful.
I'm a morning person too, because I like to get up before my kids, just so that I can have a moment for myself. But for some reason, I'd rather work at night. I don't know why. I'm weird. But
well, we knew that, but
yeah, I know. But I think Kyle's got one more question for us, and we'll wrap it up here.
I do.
Well, yeah, you got to
You
ask
asked my
her.
question, Nate.
Oh, I mean, I did in a way, but go ahead and ask it, and we'll get a long, detailed answer here.
I'm going to change it a little bit. Best piece of advice you could give to a young woman who's entering the industry today?
Be confident. I struggle with that still myself, I think, quite a bit. I mean, I feel coming in here with confidence, being open and willing to learn those would be my answers.
Love it. Well,
like
thanks so much for taking the time to join us today. It's been great hearing about your journey and just the incredible work you've done over there at 24/7, and we appreciate the stories and insight and energy that you bring to the industry. So I think I know that we'll be seeing a lot more of you in this industry for a long period of time, and I'm glad that we were able to hopefully get you on here early and get people to know you, because I think that you're going to be somebody that people are going to get to know over time. So,
well, thank you. I was absolutely honored to be here, and I was like, are you sure you want me? But thank you. It was great.
Absolutely. And to all of our listeners, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to remember to follow along for more of our conversations with everybody. And always, as you know, like and subscribe, give reviews on Spotify and Apple. But also, now that we are partnered with Rental Management, you will find us on the Rental Management YouTube channel. We'll have our own playlist on there underneath the podcast. But if you go to Rental Management on YouTube, it's at Rental Management 359. And that is ARA Rental Management. So you can find the videos, shorts, all these episodes that will be coming to you guys, but they will also be in the same places that you found them now. So like and subscribe. And Kyle, as always, good to see you, buddy.
Sure. Yep.
And this has been another episode of Under the Vinyl.